Welcome to the best gambling show on the internet. This is the home of the money pick. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Week 17 NFL picks, Christmas Eve right now. And I have three things before we start this video. Merry Christmas and thank you for all the support this year. You guys have been amazing. Secondly, man, I'm so excited for this week 17. Can I be honest? Maybe something's wrong with your boy, but this is the most excited I've been for a video since week 1. Thirdly, the Christmas picks with the Thursday pick are up on the Christmas video. Let's get this money. Let's get to the first game. Big week incoming. First game, we got the Miami Dolphins at the Cleveland Browns. Dolphins minus 6.5. Money. It's simple. Like I said last week, you say DTR, I say bet the other side. Even my dog understands this methodology. I will go into this game more with you. And yes, Patreon users, we did sweat for that money with the Bengals last week, but it was completely worth it, and we're going to do it again. We got a Browns defense that is absolutely decimated. This defense has been poorly coached by Jim Schwartz this whole year. They play a lot of man-to-man, but even Denzel Ward's not staying close to anyone. There's so many injuries. Even look at Myles Garrett, that chronic foot issue. He's going to get pressure. Miami's offensive line isn't the greatest in the world, but like we said, ever since the last 7 and 8 weeks when everyone wanted to bury the Dolphins, we stayed strong and we made money on it in the aggregate. And the reason is they're finding ways to work around this offensive line. The ball's coming out quick. They're getting it to Chan. Tyreek Hill hasn't played well this year, but it hasn't really mattered. But I think they get a lot of single high looks this game. And I think we see the old Dolphins back that we loved. Motion, slang it deep, Tua going off. I just think this is a Browns team on their last leg, and Mike McDaniel and Tua are going to take them out to the woods and old yeller them. Last thing, it's irresponsible starting DTR. I'm not a college football guy, but you guys informed me. DTR was bad in college. He's been one of the worst quarterbacks statistically in NFL history. How does this guy keep failing up, and how do you keep the dog, Jameis Winston, on the bench? I don't know, man. And DTR is really, really bad. Somehow we won a bet with him last year, but I don't think he's going to cover a game. He's a real liability, and I don't mean to rag on the guy. I'm not trying to be negative like that lady did with Daniel Jones on ESPN. I'm just being realistic. This is like the guy, this is like the rich kid. He gets like 3 DUIs. He's terrible at his job, yet somehow he keeps failing up. We need a little bit of DTR magic in our life, but there's no magic on the football field. Give me the Dolphins minus 6.5. Make it a damn money pick. Next game, we're going the Fox, bro. We got the Los Angeles Chargers at the New England Patriots. Chargers minus 4. I really don't know what to do with this game, so there's very little science to be had. I'll walk you through it. I got the Chargers to win, Patriots to cover. Last week on the long shot video, we had the Patriots plus 7.5, and I'm not coming on here and beating my chest about it. I do think the Chargers are on upset watch. I don't think the Patriots are any good, but you want to know one guy that is good, that is magic, that does add inspiration? Drake May's been absolutely phenomenal, and I've been glazing Jaden Daniels this whole year, but I might be more impressed with Drake May because they don't block anyone. They don't have any receivers, and you saw those plays he made against Buffalo on Sunday. It speaks for itself, and you got a Chargers offense that is impotent. Let's be honest about it. Herbert had to just pull a Brett Favre, Steve McNair type day, and I think that's going to be tough. This is a tough scenario for the Chargers. Really bad spot going cross country after an emotional fight, a dog fight against the Broncos. I got the Chargers to win, Patriots to cover. I would not be surprised if the Patriots win this game. It's just you always worry about the Patriots offensive line. It's one thing bringing a plus 14 down to a plus 7.5. It's another thing for them to beat a playoff contender. Next game, we got the Las Vegas Raiders at the New Orleans Saints. Raiders +1. Raiders to win in the cover, but I'm not confident about the Raiders like I was last week. I do think there's going to be a Saints response with Rizzo. This team has battled, but I also told you last week, do not count the Raiders out. Why are you talking about draft position? Why are you talking about tanking? I don't think Aiden O'Connell or Antonio Pierce have that in their arithmetic, and that's a positive in their category. I know you're going to get cry that they went the second to six overall, but at the end of the day, Shedeur Sanders is the only one they should be taking for. I just don't think it works in the arithmetic, and I don't want guys who tank. And like I said before, GMs tank in the NFL. Players don't. I got the Raiders to win in the cover. There's no science. It's not like one I wanted you to bet like last week against the Jags. Next game, we got the Arizona Cardinals at the Los Angeles Rams. Zona +6. Zona covers, Rams win. It's just because the Rams are so bad at starting games. And I got to tell you what, we cashed with the Rams last week, but that was a difficult experience. And this Rams team, you just want to love them. You want to think they can go on a run. Yet they're like minus 54 point differential in the first quarter. They're with the Bears. They're with the Panthers. So when you're laying 6 with them, it is a dangerous option. It doesn't look like James Conner's going to play, and he's the main X factor for this Cardinals offense. If he goes off, Kyler goes off. If he doesn't go off, this offense is like almost the bottom third offense in the league. And Kyler Murray hasn't responded, and we know this Rams defense, particularly this defensive line, has a bunch of young bulls that are playing at a high level. I think the Cardinals cover this late with a late touchdown. I do think the Cardinals are going to show some fight. Jonathan Gannon did maybe call them out a little bit. He put most of the blame on himself, which I completely get, but the talent level's really low. The Rams should blow by this, but we know in the McVay era, you lay 6 points, no matter how good they are, he's going to blow it at the end. Give me the Rams to win, Zona to cover. Next game, we got the Denver Broncos at the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals -3. Money. Money, Bengals winning the cover. Make it a damn money pick. Stamp it down. And I get the science of this game. You worry about Sean Payton against Zach Taylor. You worry about a Bengals defense that is absolutely horrendous. Like I said, they almost let DTR back in the game last week. And one thing with the Bengals, they're somewhat decent against the run on defense. Broncos can't run it. And we know what the Broncos are going to do. There's a reason why I tipped the Marvin Mims player prop. They're going to throw it quick. There's going to be quick screens. That offensive line is going to give up quick pressures. I just think this turns into a shootout. I absolutely love the over in this game, and I don't want to make this NBA style. We try to get away from that. We know football is an extremely complex sport, and that's why we love it. But also in this game, you're getting to Bo Nix and Burrow, and this will turn into a shootout. It's not like Burrow's going up against Lamar or Josh Allen. It's not that type of situation. He is going up against Bo Nix, and Bo Nix has been fighting. He has been making plays, but at the end of the day, he really has Cortland Sutton, and Burrow has way more firepower and way more difference makers. I really like the Bengals in this game. Whose offense do you trust more? And I've been saying the whole year, and yes, some of you guys get revolted by it, But this Bengals offense is an absolute train. It's a top 5 unit. Give me the Bengals to win in the cover, make it a money pick. But you know, when you entrench on this game, when you bet the Bengals, when you bet Zach Taylor, understand that this is a Mickey Mouse organization and the Broncos are actually serious. Next game, we got the Tennessee Titans at the Jacksonville Jags. Jags -1. Absolutely love the Jags. I've been picking the Jags late this year. The only time I didn't pick them was against the Raiders. And this reminds me of that Raiders-Jags game last week. I couldn't responsibly make it a money pick, but on Patreon, I gave hints. And I know the D-Gens followed me. On the video, I gave hints. On the Friday Collins show, I gave hints. I just begged you guys to bet it for me, but I can't under my goodwill, my good nature for you guys and your pocketbooks tell you to bet the Jags against the Titans here. But I'm going to paint it out for the D-Gens. If you're a D-Gen, if you're not a D-Gen, skip to the next game. We got a good one coming up. But so let me spell it out. I think the Jags have a huge coaching advantage, and I know it's easy to dunk on Doug Peterson, like the visor, the bad decisions. And we know this Jags team is severely limited, especially in the secondary. But is Mason Rudolph, is Will Levis going to really take advantage of that? And when I talk about this game, I'm going with the better coach. I think Brian Callahan's been the worst coach in this league. And if the Titans were a serious organization in a serious market that didn't just care about country music, he would be fired. He would be a one and done. He would be a Jim Tom Sula. He would be in that category. And I know Will Levis has been the scapegoat this year. Okay, great. But Brian Callahan really should be the scapegoat. He was giving this job out of nepotism. At least Pedersen earned it on his own 2 feet. So when I look at this game, I'm looking at the quarterback situation. I think Mac Jones has been playing pretty good. I think this Jags defense, listen, I'm not saying they played good, and I'm not saying anything's getting better over there, but one thing this Jags defense has done since week 7 against the Eagles, I think it was week 7, week 8, week 9, they've been fighting hard, and they've been playing physical. And the big matchup in this game is Trayvon Walker, Josh Allen Hines against the worst offensive line in the league. Give me the Jags. Give me the Jags to win this game. Give me the Florida Heat. I just don't think Tennessee has a lot left. And if they get up for some Alamo performance to finish the season with some semblance of pride, their coaching is going to cost them it in the end. Jags winning the cover. I don't know why I should spend so much time on this game. Next game, we got the New York Jets at the Buffalo Bills. Jets +10. Money, money, money. Money. Jets to cover is the money pick. Bills win. There's also a spin on this game in the upset long shot video. I'll get that up on Christmas Day. I like this one better than the Patriots +7.5 last week. Now, when you look at this game, I know you're saying, Lawson, do not bet the Jets. Do not do this to us. Do not do this to yourself. You've been great this year, but anyone who's touched the Jets has gotten burned. I get it. But there's no bet list for me. We only have 16 teams in this league. We only get between 13 and 16 matchups a week. And if I see something, I'm going to take advantage of it. This Jets offense is an absolute train. I get they're the most poorly coached team I've ever seen. I get it that against the Rams, they only put up 6 points. But can I tell you something about that Rams game? The Jets didn't punt the ball the whole game. They churned the ball over on like 4 fourth and downs in high leverage situations where the coaching wasn't good enough. But this is a Bills defense that is vulnerable. When you give up 80 points in 2 straight games, when you let Drake May, with one of the worst offensive lines I've ever seen, dab on you in your home field, there are concerns about this defense, and it isn't just them churning it on for the playoffs like Kansas City has grown us accustomed and almost lazy, thinking you can just churn it on in this league. It really doesn't work that way. It just works that way because Reed and Mahomes are in a different level. And I do think this Bills offense will have a field day. The Jets can't stop anyone, but it does seem like they're still playing hard. I don't think Sauce Gardner's going to play but I'm not really worried about that. I know Josh Allen's going to get his yards and he's going to get his points, but I also think this Jets offense gets their points. And I've been saying all year, this Jets offense is a top 10 offense, and they're going up against a bad defense. Let me go with the data. Let me go with the clear head. Let me go with the Jets to cover the 9.5. Bills win this game, but it's going to be closer than everyone thinks, and it's going to be closer than the Bills fans want. Jets cover, make it a damn money pick. Next game, we got the Carolina Panthers, Bryce Young, at the Tampa Bay Bucs. Panthers +8. Guys, I really don't know what to do with this game. I'll be completely honest, because we were right for the Panthers to cover the first meeting. The only thing I would suggest in this game is go over, but I do think the Panthers cover. I do think the Bucs win. This Bucs defense has serious problems covering short routes, and we know the duality of the Panthers. Their offense completely lays an egg against the Cowboys, and then they play a great game against the Cardinals, who are fighting for their playoff lives. Both are good, pretty good defenses, but in this game, I do think the Panthers keep it close. I don't think the Bucs are going to completely blow them out. Division matchup, but Panthers are still fighting. You do worry about the Panthers stopping the run. You do worry about Baker coming out for vengeance after some of the mistakes against the Cowboys. Give me the Panthers to cover, Bucs to win. I have very little science here. Next game, we got the Dallas Cowboys at the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles -9.5. Cowboys win. Eagles win. Cowboys cover. This is one of those games that's hard to talk about because the Cowboys are playing pretty good football right now, and I took a lot of egg on the face the last 2 weeks with them. And Cooper Rush is finding a way to make plays. How is he making plays? Everything's underneath. Everything is 3 yards in the air. I don't know how it's happening. I think the Cowboys cover. I do think this is a bad spot for the Eagles. I actually like the Eagles more on the road than I do at home. Can I be honest about that? It doesn't make sense. I do think the Eagles, I do think Lincoln Financial Field, whatever they're calling it now, I do think that's going to be a fortress in the playoffs. But for the regular season, I just like them more on the road. And I do like the Cowboys to do enough on offense to keep this close. And I do like this Cowboys front to get enough pressure. And I am worried about the Hurts-Pickett situation. I assume Hurts is going to play. I guess the market is saying he's going to play. I just want no part of this game. Cowboys cover, Eagles win. I'm reading the board really well, if you guys haven't noticed. But I am not reading the board well on Cowboys games. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Next game, we got the Indianapolis Colts at the New York Giants. Giants +8. Money, money, money. Money, I'm doing it. Giants cover, Colts win. The Colts shouldn't be laying 8 points against anyone. This is just a pure market play from me. And think about this, Patreon users. The bet last week we had was Falcons -8.5 at home with the Giants going on the road. Now we got the Colts laying 8 going on the road to the Giants. Does that make any sense to you? And you can hate Atlanta. You can shoo Atlanta. But let's be honest, man. Atlanta's a better football team than the Colts. And I'm not playing last week. I'm not playing the season. We know every matchup is individual. But I do think the Giants can run it against the Colts defense, and I do think the Colts defense has severe problem areas. I also look at this game where Anthony Richardson can win it alone, but he can also lose it alone, and I would lean towards him losing it. And they can run the ball all they want. Look at how well they ran the ball against the Broncos. But at the end of the day, the quarterback needs to throw it eventually, and Anthony Richardson just isn't that dude. He isn't the dude mentally, but also also his accuracy is some of the worst stuff I've seen from an NFL quarterback. And obviously, when you look at Steichen, when you look at Daboll, we would obviously side with Steichen, but even Steichen is putting Anthony Richardson in some bad situations, to be honest. Like, you guys remember that trick play he called that ended up being a pick six? Just a lot of weird stuff from Steichen this year, and I think the Giants can do enough to keep it close. Daboll is also fighting for his job, and I know it sounds crazy, but I kind of think Daboll is going to be there next year. I think the Mara family keeps him, and they just need at least like one good performance, one win to keep him there, and I think they get it. I don't think this is a great spot for the Colts. Colts playoff, listen, their playoff wishes are closed. Colts win the game with a field goal, but Giants cover. This is a market play from me. Next game, we got the Green Bay Packers at my Minnesota Vikings. Vikings -1.5. I think the Vikings have the better defense. And I got the Vikings to win in the cover. I also think the Vikings have the better coaching staff. I also think the Vikings enter this game in a better moment, although both teams have been cooking. Now, with the Packers, the one thing they do on offense better than the Vikings is run the ball. But the Vikings have been very good at running the ball this year. They just seem to be going full passing attack. And I think that can actually help against the Packers. The Packers do not have a great pass rush. They just don't. Their pass rush woke up against Seattle, but everyone's pass rush wakes up against Seattle. And I've been telling you guys this metric. The player prop videos have been on point with Sam Darnold. When do we bet Sam Darnold over? When he's not getting pressure. When do we bet Sam Darnold under? When he's getting pressure. And he's a bottom 5 quarterback with pressure. He's a top 5 quarterback without. And I think we see the better part of Sam Darnold. I also think the Vikings have better targets. Jefferson, Addison, Hockenson, Aaron Jones. I know Josh Jacobs is the X factor in this game. I know he's the Colossus. He's the monster that can completely wreck this play. Here's the thing. Vikings are top 5 against the run. And I think if you stop the Packers running game, you stop the Packers offense. Now, here's one thing I don't know if you guys noticed. Most of the Packers scoring drives, most of their touchdown drives are Josh Jacobs dominant. Now, let me give an example. When he gets like 35, 50 yards rushing on a drive, Packers are awesome. You get the play action. Jordan Love looks good. When teams have limited Josh Jacobs or he hasn't been involved in drives, that's when we see the bad Jordan Love. That's when we see the bad Reed. That's when we see the bad Christian Watson. Outside of Kraft, none of these targets for Jordan Love are consistent, and that leads to him forcing the ball, a lot of crazy deep passes, and that leads to turnovers. I think Sam Darnold plays the cleaner football game. Give me the Vikings to win in the cover. I kind of want to bet this, but I want to watch this as a fan. Next game, we got the Atlanta Falcons, Penix at the Washington No Names. Falcons +4. No Names win and cover. But I rate the No Names a lot higher than you guys. So I'm kind of curious to see what you guys are going to do here. This is a stay away situation for me. And like I said on Patreon, I said Michael Penix would be very good in that game against the Giants, and he was. Kyle Pitts tried to ruin it, but that's what he does to people. But I think the Commanders at home in this game is just too much for a Falcons defense. And one thing I felt about the Falcons defense this year, I felt like they would be pretty good against the run, and I don't see that happening. And ever since Jaden Daniels, he's been healthy the last 3-4 weeks, and you see the run game picking up. You see him going off for 50, 70 yards rushing a game, and I think that's the difference. And I do think this Commanders defense is getting better. Now, I know we saw Jesse Bates go off against the Giants, and you always worry about that, but this Falcons defense just isn't very well coached. I'm going with the coach I trust more. No Names winning the cover with the -4. Last game, we got the Detroit Lions at the San Francisco 49ers. Lions -3.5. I like the Lions to win in the cover. This is one we need to examine as the week goes on. I'll do a separate video on this because I'm thinking about betting it. But like I've been saying about the 49ers the whole year, this defense just wasn't good going into the season. This offense, the targets are aging. Like, I know Ayuk is out on IR, but look at Deebo Samuel. Look at all the injuries they got at running back. There's only so much fight. There's only so much bite this 49ers team has. And eventually, the Super Bowl slump is one of those cliches that is real. And you got to Lions offense. I know they were without Montgomery. I know they got 8-9 starters out on defense, but this Lions offense is an absolute juggernaut. It's top 3 in the league, and this is a great matchup for them against the 49ers. We finally saw Laporta get going, and if he gets going, this Lions offense is just too much. Lions winning the cover. I'm going to do a separate video on this because, like I said, I'm thinking about betting it. Merry Christmas. Make sure you hit the like button. The Christmas Day videos are up on a separate video. And guys, thank you for the support. Thank you for everyone on Patreon. Thank you for everyone who left the damn comment. And thank you for everyone who shared the videos. Let's get this money. Merry Christmas. Everyone be safe, be well, and enjoy it. I fucking love Christmas, man.